morning. I'm Charles Kuralt, and this is Sunday Morning. A Long and Winding Road is Eugenia Zuckerman's story about what one of the Beatles is up to these days.
For the past several months, the Boys' Choir of Harlem and the Collegiate Chorale have been preparing for a major event. Tomorrow night, they'll be participating in the American premiere of Paul McCartney's latest work. McCartney, who can neither read nor write a note of music, has nonetheless created a unique classical composition of major proportion. Later, on Sunday morning, we'll talk with the composer and hear some of his Liverpool oratorio.
The Beatles sang about a long and winding road once upon a time. One of them seems still to be walking that road, pressing adventurously on into unexplored realms of music. Unexplored by a former Beatle, anyway. As a result, there will certainly be a long and winding line outside New York's Carnegie Hall tomorrow evening for the first performance in this country of a major work of classical music by Paul McCartney. Eugenia Zuckerman is about to describe a long and winding road away from Liverpool and back again.
This year, the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic is celebrating its 150th anniversary. The orchestra decided to celebrate in a big way, so they invited Paul McCartney to compose something for the occasion. McCartney decided to compose in a big way, the Liverpool Oratorio, his first classical work for full orchestra, chorus, boys' choir, and 4 vocal soloists. Over 300 musicians. About undertaking such a vast thing as the oratorio. Did you feel at risk at all saying you'd do it?
I didn't really. It sounds a little bit immodest, but I was so excited at getting an offer like that. To me, it's just music, albeit a classical orchestra.
The oratorio had its first performance last summer in the Liverpool Anglican Church.
Kept in confusion, trapped by illusion, thinking of speaking my mind.
I'm not sure about the chords, but something like that.
McCartney worked with Carl Davis, an American composer and conductor who lives in London. McCartney needed help. He can't read or write music.
I offered to teach her. I sort of said, well, in a couple of days, I mean, it's no harder than learning to type. You know, it's really, there are perhaps a dozen things you have to know, but he kept saying, no, I really don't want, I want to preserve my innocence.
She just needs to accent her first note. Boom. That's it. If we write an accent in, that would do it.
From start to finish, the process took 3 years. Some of the work is based on McCartney's life. The oratorio opens with a child born during World War II. Tomorrow night, the oratorio will have its American debut in Carnegie Hall. Where do you look for a boys' choir in New York? You might try 127th Street and Lenox Avenue, where the Boys' Choir of Harlem resides. choir is no stranger to celebrities. They've performed for presidents and royalty. But the director, Walter Turnbull, still thought performing in the oratorio would be special.
It would be something that the boys would enjoy, and at the same time, it's an opportunity to be, for them to get close to one of the century's major composers. Excuse me, going into the chest voice there is ugly for me. Tall, please. Yes, we want to be heard in Carnegie Hall, but that doesn't get it for me. Letter F, please.
Only about 30 of the boys will finally be chosen to perform. That's all the oratorio calls for. The Collegiate Chorale, all 180 members, has been working on the oratorio for the past few months. Robert Bass is the choral director.
When we cracked the score open, we cracked it open the same way we would anything else we were about to do, without any preconceived notions, and began rehearsing it. And the rehearsal process revealed that the parts are well written, the text is well set, and the melodies are beautiful.
I mean, I love to hear a choir. I like the humanity of it. I like when it pans across all the faces and you see like real people all devoting themselves to this piece of music. I like that. I like that teamwork. There's something very encouraging for me. I feel optimistic about human race when I see them cooperating like that.
Did you have any problems working with operatic singers? And did you find that the operatic voice could be as expressive or more expressive than voices you're used to?
Well, I must admit, before I did this, I had a problem with operatic voices. My dad, when I was a kid, would always make fun of, it was always like a slightly comic thing to me. And he would, if it came on the radio, he'd turn it off. Oh, none of that. You know, he liked sort of Chicago, you know. My dad was like more a jazzy, you know. So I approached this with a little bit of sort of thinking, God, you know, how am I going to deal with this? I'm going to laugh when they start singing. But with working with them, it was great, actually. I soon got over this joke aspect and started to like the skill of the voices, that I could just write some very silly high notes and ask them to hold on to it forever, and they would.
Soprano Barbara Bonney will be performing in the oratorio for the first time tomorrow night. Yesterday, the Collegiate Chorale and the Boys' Choir of Harlem came together in Carnegie Hall. Final preparations for the American debut of the Liverpool Oratorio had begun.
Nagging cough, Edinburgh, don't try and just Edinburgh, just throw it away, don't bother with it. And then, and.
One can rarely foresee what the future of a work will be, whether it will take. I actually feel that its real appreciation will come out of America.
If If you wanted to be remembered for a handful of the pieces that you've done, would you want the oratorio to be one of them?
Yeah, definitely. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. So just it's like, you know, like a painter, you know, you've done a lot of small paintings, and suddenly there's this whacking great canvas, you know, that's filling the whole art gallery. I think, you know, I've done a couple of pieces, and I'd like that to be included. I like some of the Beatles stuff to be included, too. There's some nice numbers there.
A few, absolutely.
Just wanted to